Right, morning everybody. As you can hear from my accent, I'm a foreigner. I come from Dallas. No. Originally grew up in South Africa. Grew up in a mining town. My dad was a miner. Every day he'd go 2 miles down, do his underground job, come back up again. And we lived a great life, a little village life over there, but we lived on dolomite. Every time it rained, the village would sink a little bit. And every morning my dad would go out, check the little meter on the side of the house. If we'd sunk too much, they'd just move us to another house. About 2 days after my 9th birthday, 4 o'clock in the morning, knock on the door, sirens going off, you've got to get out of the village. The whole village is sinking. And that's a picture of one of the sinkholes that appeared there. That was another sinkhole. One family disappeared, never to be seen again. And we left the village. It's still sealed off right now, all of our clothes, photographs. Left there and moved in with my grandmother. Grew up pretty poor. My dad being a miner, I always had those school uniforms that you would buy at the second-hand shop, and the sleeves were up here somewhere. But when my dad was 48, he decided he was going to start his own business. He had no clue about business at all. Borrowed $2,000, went down to the local gold mine and said, I've come to sell. So we've never seen you, we've never heard of you, but we've got a problem underground. Can you help us? My dad sorted it out, and from that started one of the biggest mining wholesalers in South Africa. And I remember growing up, he used to say to me, be passionate, love your customers, and didn't mean anything. All I want to know is, how do I go out and have fun? Now, that passion's for old people. Left school, I was going to be the first person to get a degree in the family. Blue-collar family, nobody had a degree. I was going to become an accountant. That was my mom's dream, not mine. I was the worst employee anybody could ever have. After 10 months, they fired me, and that was the end of my accountancy. And then I did what I always wanted to do. I became a drummer in a rock and roll band. And I want to tell you, that is the best job on the planet. Peanut Butter Conspiracy, that was the name of our band. Look us up on YouTube. We did quite well. I did that for about 8 years and then got married and had to get a real job. I didn't know what to do, but I had a friend who was in sales, financial services. He had a swimming pool, he had a tennis court, he had a Mercedes. I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell. Went and found him, knocked on the manager's door and said, I've come to sell. Anyway, I failed 3 interviews, failed 3 aptitude tests, but when I look back now, the main reason I failed is that's what I looked like when I went for my interview. Really, would you hire this man? Anyway, he said, you're no good for the business. But every morning, 8 o'clock, I phoned him. I said, when am I starting? You're not. Next morning, 8 o'clock, when am I starting? You're not. And I did this for 3 months. And he gave in before I did. And I started my career in sales. Absolutely loved it. Salesman of the year the first year. Second year, started building up a big sales force. My wife and I started buying and selling businesses. We had a jewelry business, catering, restaurants. 1993, I moved over to London. A friend and I had an insurance business, sold that 4 years later. And then about 20 years ago, started speaking. And I love it. I travel all over the world meeting incredible people. And I love sales. But about 10, 12 years ago, we had this weird thing called the internet that came along and just disrupted everything. In the old days, I could do things like cold calling. Today, that's not even in the dictionary anymore. And I love the way that everything is sold has happened in sales. And that's what I want to speak about this morning. I want to show you some of the companies that have changed and innovated. And these companies are incredible. Just a little while ago, I was asked to work with Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is still one of the biggest cosmetic companies in the world. And they asked me to do a talk to 55 of their world leaders. But they gave me their vision into the future, and I think it's so relevant for every company. This is what they said. The first thing is all about the people targets. How do we find the right kind of people? How do we find the talent? How do we give them all of the skills? The second thing was all about their processes. How do we make sure we've got our stores are full all the time, everything works for us? And then they said, what's going on? Technology targets. We've got to go into the whole digital media, but we're a cosmetic company. The way that we work is somebody walks into the shop, they do all the lipstick and they buy a whole bag of stuff and say, how do we move into digital media? So, we've got it. We're going to make videos. They spent thousands making videos, and they had hardly any views. Well, this is not working. But then they sat down and they started going onto YouTube, and they found there'd be a 16-year-old girl. She'd go into Estee Lauder, buy a whole lot of stuff, come back, sit in front of her laptop and demonstrate how to put on the lipstick and the rouge and all this stuff. And she's got 300,000 views. And I said, whoa, what's going on over here? You know, and they did a bit more investigating. There's a young girl over there in 4 weeks, 3,000 views, and another young girl there, 497,000. And they said, these are the influencers. So what we've got to try and do is find these young girls that have got these massive followings behind them. And they started to do that. Now, every time they bring out any new product, they've got a whole lot of these young girls that they will send them to. They'll demonstrate, and sales just go up. These young girls are earning fortunes. Where it happens more, I was in Gibraltar just recently, and many of the gaming companies are in Gibraltar. What they've done is they've gone and identified all of these young influencers. So you'd find a 12-year-old kid who's got 5 million followers on YouTube. They send him the new game, and within 5 weeks, he's worked out everything, he's put it on there, and he's got 5-10 million views. So you've got 12-year-olds earning absolute fortunes. There's a little guy that demonstrates toys. He made 11 million last year, 6 years old. I mean, it's great. And again, in all of our businesses, we've got influencers. And the influencer could be somebody that's a blogger, somebody who's got a big following on YouTube. Who are the influencers in our business? But getting right into it, we know we've got to have a great product or service. The second thing is, what is it that makes you unique or better or different to your competitors? If your competitor can say it, then it's not unique. Customer service is not unique. We've been around 50 years is not unique. You've really, really got to dig deep. I was working with a company in Singapore, and they do an online currency exchange. So I'm working with 11 of their salespeople. I said, what makes you unique? Customer service, we've been in, no. We actually sat for 3 hours, and I discovered that they've got unbelievable stuff. 11 salespeople that speak 20 languages. They've got 20 websites. So a Chinese person goes into a Chinese website, speaks to a Chinese person. Filipino goes to a Filipino website, speaks to a Filipino person. They were so close to it that they didn't see this as being unique. I'm like, whoa, that's unbelievable. I then went through their website and I found something right at the bottom that said our bid offer spread is 0.05% better than our closest competitor. I said, what does that actually mean in English? Oh, we made 500 million more than our closest competitor. I said, put that on the website. We came up with 17 things. Not one was on the website. None of it was in the marketing materials. And none of their salespeople were speaking about it. So what is it really that makes you unique? What do you do 2% better than the competitors? What is it that makes you different? The next thing is, everybody talks about social media. You've got to be on every social media platform. No, you don't. You've actually got to be where your clients hang out. Actually go in and ask your clients, what social media platforms do you hang out on? I mean, if you're in a B2C business, they might be on Facebook, they might be on Instagram. In a B2B business, they might be on LinkedIn, they might be on YouTube. I see so many companies and they say, we've got every platform. And I go in and I take a look. And they've spent a fortune on videos. They've got 3 views. They're all on LinkedIn and they're not connecting. They're not putting out any content. So actually ask your clients, just saying we're updating our social strategy. What platforms do you hang out on? What content do you want from us? How often do you want the content? And only from there, go in and get your sales and marketing plan together. And that leads us to the 3 sales forces, which we're going to be speaking about today, because every organization actually has 3 sales forces. The one is the traditional sales force, and this is what I've always been. So I'd go and I'd meet Bill, we'd look into each other's eyes, we'd have chemistry. I love that. That's how I've grown up. The second sales force is your unrecognized. This is everybody that works for you that says, I'm not in sales, I'm in IT, I'm in Everybody is in sales. I worked with a company that makes a chemical compound. So they asked me to do a day sales training. I get there, there's 100 people in the room. I said, Dave, you haven't got 100 salespeople? No. Then at the back, they're my salespeople. Those are my chemists. Those are my truck drivers. I said, whoa. What am I going to teach a truck driver about selling? He says, you don't understand. He says, it takes me years and years to get my biggest client on board. One of my truck drivers goes to make a delivery. He's in a stinking mood, and he doesn't realize that the guy who he's being rude to in shorts and sandals and a t-shirt is my client, the CEO. I lose my biggest client because of a truck driver. He says, I've got a lady who's a CEO of a company. She's got a problem in accounts. She phones in. She gets through to one of my people who's rude to her. I lose my biggest client. Everybody is part of that unrecognized sales force. And then, of course, the third one is the unseen sales force. These are the people you don't even know are looking for you. They're going to start out by doing a Google search or a LinkedIn search or a YouTube search. If you come up on the first page, you stand a pretty good chance. If your website is all about them and you start bringing in all of the latest media, video, you stand a great chance. So are we getting all three of our sales forces working together? But let's start off right now with that traditional sales force. And I'm going to do something we always do in Vistage, get us all working together. And I want you to think about just traditional prospecting. How do you find business at the moment? In our tables, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I want you to come up with any ideas you can. How do you go out and prospect? How do you find new business at the moment? Any ideas you can. Introduce yourself to everyone else. 5 minutes. Let's get some ideas on how do we prospect at the moment. Let's get started. Right, everybody, let's see what we've come up with. Let's get one idea from each table, just a quick one idea. Let's start at the back here. Faces I haven't seen. Who's going to give us one idea here? Newsletter, okay. Great. Electronic newsletter, great. We'll speak about that. Another one? Networking, perfect. What we're doing today. Another one, yeah? Okay, ideas go. Absolutely, word of mouth. That's the best ever. Word of mouth. Another one?
I use, one of us uses artificial intelligence.
Oh, nice. We're going to look at that. Great. Another one?
Trade shows and events.
Absolutely. Trade shows, events. Pay-per-click, absolutely, yeah. He who pays the highest gets seen. Yeah. Another one? Okay, referrals. How many referrals? Sit in the lobby and wait for them. Yeah. Advertising, networking. Okay, so lots and lots of ideas. Let's take a look at some of the traditional ones. We know warm calling. Cold calling is almost gone. Isn't it funny with cold calling? I've got a sales team in London, and they're all youngsters. Boy, they're fantastic on the internet. Ask them to pick up the phone. They've just got no clue. They say, oh, no, I'll send a quick text. I'll send a WhatsApp, just don't want to use it. Of course, referrals. A swap meeting is quite interesting. Who sells to the same client base as you, but they're not in competition with you? So I work with a company that makes guns, Heckler and Koch in England. I'm sitting with their sales team. Who do you sell to? We sell to armies all over the world. What else do armies buy? They buy boots. What else? Uniforms. What else? Tents. I said, when we finish the meeting, go and phone the salespeople from those companies. You're selling to exactly the same people, but you're not in competition. So swap meets are great. We know the normal clubs and activities, periodicals, centers of influence, marketing, networking, all of the traditional stuff we've looked at, mail shots, word of mouth. But then, of course, what's happened now with technology, we've got great new ideas and new ways of doing things. And how many of us are doing advanced search strategies? Boolean, how many of our salespeople are using Boolean searches? The great thing with understanding Google now, if you understand what the plus and the minus and the brackets and how that all works, you can now go out and say to Google, this is my ideal customer. This is how I want to go and find them. And it's amazing. I was working with a company called Jellyfish Pictures in London, and they do all the animation for just about any big movie that you see. And I said to them, so who's your ideal target market? And they gave me their target market. I said, what does your perfect prospect look like? And they said, oh, they would be a producer. And we got a list of exact kind of people that we wanted to get in front of. And then we said, okay, where do you want to find them? And they said, these are the countries, these are the places. We went out, and in one morning, we found about 3,000 prospects that they didn't know about. So advanced Google searches are fantastic. And I'm going to give you a little demonstration on a video here. So I was going over to Australia a little while ago, and I was going to Perth. And I thought, what happens if I'm a salesperson, I'm going into Perth, I don't know anybody, where would I get started? And I started playing around with these Boolean searches. I thought, what if I was going to be selling to dentists? Where would I find all of the dentists in Perth? Or what if I was in a B2B business and I wanted to find out tenders and contracts to sell into hospital purchasing managers? And then I said, the third scenario, what if I wanted to find CEOs in the oil and gas business? How would I find them? So take a look at this little video, and it just demonstrates how easy it is once you know how to use Boolean searches.
Okay, right now we're going to start taking a look at advanced search strategies and see how you can actually be using this in your business. So I'm in London at the moment, and I'm going to Australia soon. So I decided, how would I do some searches if I was going to Australia? If I was actually living there, what would be some of the things that I was going to do? So let's move right into the advanced search strategies here and take a look. Now, let's say I was looking for a dentist, and it's going to be in Australia. I would put in dental or dentist plus association plus Australia and also member directory. So that's my search term. I'm now going to hit the button, the enter button, and let's see what comes up. So as we can see here, there are a lot of searches that have come up here, and what I can do is just click into any of these searches, and let's take this one here, the member directory. I'm going to open that link in a new lab. Let's see what comes up here. There it goes. It opens it in the member directory. I'm finding out who the president, vice president, secretary is. I can also find out who all of the members are. There's their email address, their phone number, their addresses. As you can see, all of the details are here. So that's pretty easy to do. There I've got the whole member directory, and I can start contacting those people either via LinkedIn or emailing them. But let's say I wanted to look for hospital managers in Perth. Now there I would type in hospital plus manager plus Perth plus Australia, and they're going to be in purchasing because I want somebody in purchasing, and I want an XLS kind file type. So that means I want an Excel spreadsheet. So their hospital manager, Perth, Australia, purchasing, because those are the people they might be putting in tenders. So those are the people I want to contact. I'm going to hit the enter bar, and as you can see here, there's about 5,500 results. So let's just hit the first one, and I'm going to click open. That's going to open an Excel spreadsheet for me, and there are the two purchasing managers, Christine and Trish. I've got their phone numbers, I've got their email address, what they're actually doing. They're the buyers. So now I can make contact with those two people. And it's that easy to do with the advanced searches. Here's another spreadsheet, and this one is really comprehensive. If we take a look at this here, we've got the Department of Health, the suppliers, and these could be a list of tenders that are going out over there. You can see the description, the category, You can find out everything about them, the date of the tender, what they're actually looking for, who the people are, the dates. So if you're in tendering, this is a great tool. Let's have a look at another one. Yeah, there you can see tendering. So a lot of tenders and procurement will go up here. Let's open up this one. Let's see what we've got here. And there we go. We have another spreadsheet there. And we can see the name of the person over there, what their department is, what they're actually doing there, what their budget is, what is the size of the tender. I can click on those to view contract. Those are live links over there. All of the companies, what they're actually doing. So what a great way, if I was in a B2B business and I was looking for tenders, to go in and find out what tenders there are, who are the people I should be speaking to, and what are all of their contact details. Now, let's say I was looking for a CEO in the oil and gas industry in Australia. What I would do is I would come in and I would type in president or manager or CEO in brackets, and then I would put plus oil or gas. It's got to be in Australia. And of course, the file type is going to be an Excel spreadsheet. So there I go. Let's see what we've come up with. And again, quite a lot over here. Let's click into this one and open that, see what we've got there. Now we have our spreadsheet, and take a look at that. I mean, what a great spreadsheet that is over there. The company, the current market cap. So I'm finding out everything about these oil and gas companies over here, the email address, where they are situated, their phone numbers, contact details, the contact person over there, who the chairman is, who the CEO is. There it is. In a few clicks, I have most of the oil and gas companies in Australia, where they're based, and who to speak to. So there's some great ideas for you to use.
Isn't that scary? I mean, when you know how to use that, you can find out anything. Just recently, I was playing around in England, and I managed to get a list of all the members of parliament, their email address, their phone number, and their salaries. How crazy is that? Now, again, what we've got to be doing is giving all of our salespeople all of these tools. And at the end of my presentation today, I'll give you a place where you can go and download a PDF that will give you what all the plus, the minuses, how it all works. Please share it with all of your salespeople, because it is so powerful. And that moves us on to LinkedIn. So now we've got the list of people, and for me, LinkedIn, how many of us love LinkedIn? Everybody. LinkedIn is the new place to be hanging out now. I'm getting about 10 times more interaction on LinkedIn than all of the other social platforms put together. But I don't know if you know how powerful LinkedIn has become in terms of search engine optimization. About 18 months ago, Microsoft took over LinkedIn, and they're now about the 4th biggest search engine. We were talking a little bit earlier, and someone said pay-per-click. I think it was pay-per-click. So nowadays, LinkedIn can become our new pay-per-click. In fact, here's the interesting thing. For all of us, if you've got a search term, how you would like to be found in a Google search, just go and put that in and see if you come up on the first page. If you don't, and your competition is there, chances are they're going to get the business. So my search term is sales and technology speaker. That's what I love to speak about. My main business is in London. I shouldn't come up on a search term here. Anybody who's got their phones available, just go onto Google, just type in sales technology speaker, see if I come up. So I'm not paying anything on pay-per-click. I'm just using generic SEO to get onto the first page. Just type in sales technology speaker and see if I come up. And then I'll show you a couple of ways we can get onto the first page without having to pay a fortune. So, in fact, I'll go into it as well, yeah? Let's just go into the internet here. So, I've just typed in, am I coming up on the first page on any of yours? Yeah. Am I coming up more than once? I actually own the first page on Google anywhere in the world for that search term. And all of us can do exactly the same thing. All we've got to do is feed Google what it wants. And we've got to become part of that Google family. two big things over there. Google owns YouTube. How many of us have got a YouTube channel? After today, please get a YouTube channel and start putting videos up onto YouTube. The other thing they own is Blogger. Any articles I write, the first place it goes on is onto Blogger. Google are going to feed their own fish before anything else. So if we go on to the search term here, so sales technology speaker, it's always going to be some ads. But take a look at this. This is the power of YouTube over here. All I do is every week I make one new YouTube video and I write one article. The secret of this here, many people have got videos, but if they don't do the right kind of things, they don't get onto the first page. So sales technology speaker comes in 3 times. It comes in firstly, it goes into the title. The second place, it goes into the description, and then it goes into the keywords. If you just do that with all of your videos and you start feeding regular videos onto YouTube, all of a sudden, I've got no idea how Google works. All I know is every day I've got new videos coming up there. Every day. And this is everywhere in the world. I've just come from China, Malaysia, Dubai. Every time I put a new video up, it goes there. But here's the scary thing, and you might find this on yours as well, just below that. LinkedIn. LinkedIn now one of the biggest search engines in the world. So just by optimizing your LinkedIn profile, you now can get onto the first page of Google. I'm going to pull over this chair here and show you a couple of things on LinkedIn, on optimizing LinkedIn. So if we go over to my LinkedIn profile here, what you've got to do is find your search term and put that in all over LinkedIn as well. If you think about Google scraping the LinkedIn or scraping YouTube, as long as it finds that phrase, you know, it might be best law firm in Tampa, injury lawyers, Tampa, whatever. If it's finding that term, you're going to come up. Now, here's some of the things on LinkedIn. This here is prime real estate. Don't put your title over there. Don't put in CEO or president or vice president. Nobody does a search for a president or a vice president. If you've got a title, put it in at the top there. And the way that you do that is if you just go into your edit, you click the little pen mark over there, and you can see my first name is Frank Furness Dash. My last name is Sales and Marketing Speaker. Now you've got your title up there and you haven't wasted any space. This here, this is the prime real estate. And you can see here, I've got 4 search terms. So the first one is Sales and Marketing Speaker. Then there's a space. And then there's that straight up little thing called a pipe. And what that is saying to Google is that's one phrase, that's the second phrase, that's the third phrase, that's the fourth phrase. So I'm optimizing for 4 phrases on LinkedIn. So once you've got that right, the next thing you go into that's really, really important is the About You section. And again, remember, business now, we've always done business. People do business with people. This is the way that we connect. So I do a lot on videos. We'll speak about video in the second part of the presentation. And I've got 750 videos on YouTube. I think I'm pretty good. I've got a whole studio. So recently I went on a TV presenters course at Pinewood Studios in London. And I thought, I'm going to show these people. Got up there, today I'm going to show you 6 ways to close the sale. And I thought, take that. They ripped me apart so badly, I wanted to start crying. I was doing everything wrong. Any social media you're doing, you're speaking to one person. Any video, that video I should have been saying, you're going out selling, you're not selling enough. I want to show you 3 ways. Anything that you do, any videos, any articles, write them, video them as if you're speaking to one person. Now, the same thing with your LinkedIn profile. Don't write it in the third person. You know, don't write there, Mac Devine is a CEO of this. Right, hi, my name's Mac Devine. I love working with CEOs. I joined Vistage 36 years ago, and just write a lot of nice stuff there. But then take a look here. Below are some of my specialities. Every one of those is another key search term. So just by optimizing your LinkedIn profile, you now get found on Google. It's amazing. I've worked with companies where we've sat and actually done it there and then, and all of a sudden they started popping up in the next couple of days. So get the LinkedIn profiles going, and for SEO, that will be absolutely brilliant. Let's go back here again. Now, here's the other thing as well, is in your messages, don't just write, I want to connect. What I've done is I've got about 5 or 6. I've gone to the world's top people on what messages you should write to connect with people when somebody looks at your profile, what you should do. Again, in the download, I'll be giving that to you. But here's a little idea I picked up recently, is using a thing called a video squeeze page. Now, we all know with LinkedIn, go in and see who's looking at your profile. And don't just go and say, oh, thank you for looking at my profile, boring, boring, boring. Do what this guy is doing over here. I've just started doing this. So this was a message I got from this guy, Ian Brody, and he said, hi Frank, I don't think I've ever met you, but your reputation precedes you. He's stroking my ego. Am I going to read that? Of course I'm going to read that. He's got my attention straight away. So I copy that and I use that with everybody now. Congrats on some award, best wishes. Here's the powerful thing. If you're up for it, I've recorded a short, and I love that he puts in 57 seconds. Because for some people, short is 5 minutes. Welcome video for new LinkedIn connections that talks about how we can get the most from your connection. You can watch it over here. Now my curiosity is piqued and I go into it, and that's what you call a video squeeze page, a landing page, and that has the video, and this is what he says.
Hi, it's Ian. Thanks for connecting. The purpose of this video is really just so we can put a face to a name and to suggest that we don't do that thing which everyone on LinkedIn seems to do, which is to connect and then never speak again, which kind of makes connecting pointless, really. So do feel free to drop me a message anytime you want. If you'd like an introduction to anyone in my network, I'll see what I can do. I'm quite active publishing on LinkedIn, so if there's an article or post you'd like me to share, then just shoot me a message. And as you may know, for my day job, I run an online training business with courses for consultants and coaches on how to win more clients. So if you've got any questions about marketing or sales, just shoot them over and I'll try to give you some good ideas. Or if you want, you can get my regular client winning tips by email by clicking the button below. So that's about it. As I say, great to connect. Hope we can help each other out sometime in the future. Hope we can interact. And I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
Isn't that great? Way better than anything else. So I did the same thing. I've just filmed it, put it onto a video squeeze page, but then also give them something for free. So you're all experts in your kind of business. Give them a white paper or something that's downloadable or your product brochure. Give them something for free. So LinkedIn is just amazing what you can do with that. And again, as I've said, I get 10 times more interaction. So I test all the time. I made a video and I put it onto Facebook, and exactly the same time I put it onto LinkedIn, went back 2 days later, and this is what we came up with. So that was on Facebook, 98 views. I went on to LinkedIn in exactly the same time period, 1,051 views. 10 times more interaction. Articles, videos, everything. So please start using that. I'm going to come back into LinkedIn in a minute. Oh, in fact, shall we have a little bit of fun? I want to find out a little bit about your personalities. Now, they spent millions putting together this personality test, and this is going to tell me what you are. So for no reason whatsoever, don't even think about it. I want you to think about, are you a square kind personality? Are you a triangle? Are you a circle, or are you a squiggler? And then I'll show you what the research has come up with. So for no reason, don't question it too much. Just think about that. So anyone in the room who is a square personality, hands up, please. Square, okay, we've got 4. Okay, great, I like that. Nice. Triangles, hands up, triangles. Okay, quite a few triangles, I like that. Circles, a lot of circles. Okay, great. Squigglers. Uh-oh. They spend millions on research, and this is what they discovered. So firstly, these squares, can you please put up your hands again? Okay, please take a good look at these people. Research shows These are the super intelligent. So we got that right, haven't we? Hey, Bill, do it. Triangles, very task-focused, get things done. Circles, everybody loves you. Let's hold hands and fly. Squigglers, hands up, can you please stand up, squigglers? Can you please stand up? Please take a good look at these people. Research shows 24 hours a day they are motivated by partying, drinking. So we got that right, haven't we? Anyone recognize yourself there? Never clean that desk because you organized in that disorganized way. Now these people are big picture people. They do not want too much detail. If somebody starts going into too much detail with me, I say, I want to think about it. What I'm really saying is I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, but I'm not going to tell you how stupid I am, so I'll just say I want to think about it. These are the hardest people, your amiables. They don't know how to say no. You go and you'll do your wholesales and oh, that sounds lovely. Give me a call in 3 weeks. And they don't answer your calls. They don't answer your emails. Everything is about the relationship. And then, of course, your accountants, your attorneys, the analyticals, an email is 5 pages. They want 5 pages back. Do a double spell check. In fact, if there's any in the room now, when we have a coffee break, they'll say, slide 27. Your font was just a little bit out of alignment there. Now, there's no right or wrong, and we know that's been around forever, but if we take that online, somebody comes into your website, a driver goes into your website, he doesn't care how good you are and how long you've been around. All he knows is, I've got a problem, can you solve my problem? And if he doesn't see that in 7 seconds, he's gone. The expressive, if there's no video, if there's no experience for them, they're right out of there. In fact, if I go to a website and there's no video, I'm out of there, because a video can tell me in 20 seconds what the whole website I'd have to read through. These over here, the first thing they're looking for is your phone number, your email address. Meet the team. Oh, this is a lovely company to work with. And then, of course, your analyticals, they are looking for content. They want blogs, they want white papers. So there's no right or wrong. It's just we've got to sell to people the way they buy. And one of my favorite examples of this is a little 7-year-old guy in India that sells fans. Tell me if you buy a fan from him.
Okay. Hello, yes, want to buy peacock fan, air conditioned fan, give mama give, daughter give, stadium give, house decoration, nice air condition, only 50 rupees peacock fan. Nice, take one more, only $1 each, not too much. Take only £1, England pound.
Who would buy a fan from him? We'd all buy a fan. He's never been to school. His grandmother has taught him how to sell. She said people come from all over the world. They speak different languages. They have different body language. They're not going to change. You've got to change.
Oh, Italian, German, Arabic, Iranian.
Can you show me?
Which language?
French.
Oh, sila hindi po, sila sa pagkupi, sila hindi po, sila ay niro, sila sa pagkupi. Sa pagkupi sila, hindi po. Right?
Okay, yeah.
After Italian. Hasta bello, paone, ce l'ho 50 rupi a uno, sto bonito paone. Bueno, bonito, barato, mira, te que sto uno paone, 50 rupi. Sta bello. After German, palm freedom, wunderbar. Vom Sie Supian, schön, schön, wunderbar. Vom Sie Supian, €1. After Arabic, Lala Taus Kardi, Kupana Chan, Ada Kamsin. Ada Chan Talat Mia Kamsin. After Irani, Maba Kadi Taus Panjo Rupia. Ada Tirisato Panjo, Ada Panjo. After Russian, Maulin, Pishat Rupia, Ada Ruski Rasta Punargi. The Pishat Rupia, Ada Tirisato Pishat, Ada Karosha Pishat Rupia. After Japanese, Kujakuno, mini.
Isn't that amazing? He's learned to sell in 18 different languages. You notice I changed his body language every time? This is a guy I want working for me. And again, that's great. Please download it. It's called Lingo Kid. It's just a great example of how to sell to people the way they buy. Lingo Kid on YouTube. Now, what if we could take all of the personality styling and combine that with LinkedIn. So you go to someone's LinkedIn profile and you could find out a little bit about their personality. So there's a thing called Crystal Knows, CRYSTALKNOWS. It's an amazing piece of software. And we were speaking about AI earlier on. This is just a great example. So what it does, it will analyze your personality based on your LinkedIn profile. And then the person that you want to sell to or connect with, it will look at theirs. So here's somebody called John. This is a guy in Australia that I wanted to do some business with. Very hard-nut businessman. And he's a combination of a real dominant personality, but he's also analytical. So this looks at both of our personalities together. And in fact, we're pretty close. We're both high risk over there, a little bit skeptical, both optimistic, very forceful, very fast-paced, expressive, very dominant. So I know this will be, we'd get on pretty well. But then it also takes me into everything about that person, what comes naturally to them. Feel comfortable making decisions with limited information. Find ways to break the rules. Feel comfortable being a good speaker, make decisions. And then it tells me what I've got to do. And it goes into 3 or 4 different things. What energizes him? So if I go in, these are the things I've got to speak about. The things that drain him there, over-planning, too much research. What drains John? In a meeting with John. So now it's great. And what it does for the paid version as well, it will even tell you what to put into that email if you're going to connect with that person. In a meeting, what to say to that person. Please go and take a look at it. Crystal Knows. Absolutely fantastic piece of software, Crystal Knows. So what do we need to do with our traditional sales force? The next sales force we're going to be looking at is our unrecognized sales force. Everybody that works with us says, I'm not in sales, I'm in IT. What is it actually? We always come back to this. What differentiates you from your competitors? What is it that makes you different or better? I've been working in Dubai for about 15 years now. Who's been to Dubai? What's it like? Everything's like 5-star. You know, how do you stand out when the starting point is 5-star and then up to 7-star? I mean, for most of us, if we just average in our business, we're way above our competitors. How do you work in a business where everything is that high star? I've been going there for 15 years. I was there 2 months ago. And what I love about going there is every time I go there, there's just huge, huge changes. What they discovered was they're running out of oil, so they have to make it the best tourist destination in the world. When I walked into the airport, there was a big picture of Maktoum, the Prince Maktoum, and he said over there, welcome to Dubai, where the word impossible doesn't exist. And it doesn't. They've got the biggest shopping center in the world. They've got the highest hotel in the world. They've got the highest building in the world. They've got the most expensive hotel in the world. Everything is bigger and better. But I love going there and just finding out what are the latest, coolest things that they're doing, because they seem to be way ahead of the rest of the world. This tiny little place called Dubai. So here's one of the things I found out. They've got a thing called Kafou. So I'm with my nephew. He works over there. And I said, well, tell me about the latest. He says, well, Kafou is pretty cool. I said, what is Kafou? He says, well, everybody in Dubai is so busy working, they don't have time to go to the gas station to fill up their cars. So what Kafou does is they will come to you and they will fill up your car. Take a look at this.
Today, I'm not going to talk about a Bentley or an Audi or a Honda, Nissan or Toyota. In fact, it is not even a car. It's the latest automotive app in town called Kafou. What it does is, it helps you fill petrol in your car without going to the petrol station. In other words, it brings the petrol station to you. This is all about getting your car fueled without going to the petrol station. which not only means it's hassle-free, but you save a lot of time, which you could use for a lot of other things that you enjoy. In fact, I don't have to be here if it weren't for the shoot. I could be spending time with my family, or I could be at the gym, or probably watching a movie at home with my family. Now, I only have to ensure that my fuel tank is unlocked. As you can see, it's a very special wagon because it's carrying petrol and there are safety norms to be observed. Just like any other app, download, register, and you're good to go. Choose your location, time and day, and stick to it. It even gives you the choice of Special 95 or Super 98 petrol. Of course, you have to choose a payment mode. You can either scan your credit card or enter it manually. And now, the value. Each filling is charged 18 dirhams, but wait for this. You can get unlimited service for 45 dirhams a month. So download the app, scout for the location you want, and enjoy the free time.
I mean, there's so much more going on there. I said, so what else is happening over here? He says, well, we've got Ubercopter. What is Ubercopter? Oh, you get an Uber helicopter. You can just fly wherever you want to in the United Arab Emirates, you know. I said, oh, this is so cool. What else is there? And he said, well, let's get a car and go and drive around. And I said, I don't want to go into a car rental firm. I've got to take it. No. Pulls out an app over there. He says, what kind of car do you fancy? And it pulls down every kind of car, Mercedes, Buick, whatever. And just, oh, I like a Bentley. You click onto that and it says, well, there's 3 in the local area. Just follow the map. You walk up to it, put your details in, click, the Bentley opens, you get into it, drive around wherever you want to, just drop it off and get out again. It's just amazing the things that they've got there. This is their new train that they're bringing out called the Hyperloop. They've discovered going from Dubai to Abu Dhabi takes 2 hours on the train. So they decided to make a train that goes 1,000 kilometers per hour. It'll be ready next year, and it'll take 15 minutes for the same journey. What about coffee? So everything is about the customer focus in Dubai. So if you're on the beach and you feel like an iced coffee, you don't really want to put all of your clothes on and then walk over to the place. So what they've got is you can get your coffee by drone.
Hi, can I order a caramel punch frostino, please? Where's your location? I'm just down at the beach, just by, the red flag.
So when you talk about uniqueness, that is unique. I'm going to do that just for the coolness. You know, I have 5 coffees a day from my drone. What is it that you do different, and how client-focused are you? I mean, even the hotels, you know what the hotels are like over there. It starts at 5-star hotels. That's one of their famous hotels over there. But this is the latest hotel that's being built. It's going to have 269 rooms, each one with their own swimming pool on the patio. So, I mean, how do you top that? If you're running a hotel business in Dubai, how do you actually top that? Well, here's a great little story. My favorite hotel in the world is Le Royal Meridian Hotel in Dubai. And the story is I started going there, as I say, 15 years ago. And I've been working in Dubai all the time. And a little while ago, I was going to take my wife over there. And I phoned one of my friends and I said, book me into Jumeirah Beach. He said, no. Go to Le Royal Meridian and just see the experience you're going to have there. So I book, and I hate hotel food. So I book on a bed and breakfast basis only. And I said to my wife, we'll take a couple of $100 every night and we can go to all of the different restaurants, great restaurants in Dubai. I live in hotels. Most hotels I go into, I can stand at reception for 10 minutes. I'm not really important. I'll stand there and they'll be on the phone, they'll be on the computer. This hotel, the minute I walk in there, welcome to our hotel, champagne, orange juice. I'm feeling fantastic, this is great. Young lady pulls out a piece of paper and she says, I see this is the first time that you've come to our hotel. And I see you've booked on a bed and breakfast basis only. She says, we've actually got 8 restaurants in the hotel. They are all fantastic. Our steakhouse has just been voted the best steakhouse in the Middle East. Because it's your first visit to our hotel, any evening meal at any restaurant, free. Now, there's not many words that motivate me, but free. I love that word. I said, wow, this is fantastic. That night, we go down to the Italian restaurant, and I'm speaking to the Italian waiter, and I said, what's the steakhouse like? He says, oh, the steak just melts in your mouth. I said to my wife, that's it. We're not moving out of this hotel. Every night, we're going to go to a different restaurant because it's free. Now, a couple of $100 we'd set aside for our budget. We are going to buy the best wines, the best liqueurs. Where does a hotel make all of their profit? Wine, liqueurs, booze. I talk to everybody. Next morning, I go down to the beach. There's a guy lying next to me. I said, you know how lucky I am. Book bed and breakfast, all my evening meals free. What do you think of that? He goes, me too. I then found out you can only book on a bed and breakfast basis. So what are they doing? Everybody that comes in, under-promising, over-delivering. Everybody gets the same spiel. Any evening meal, free. They've already worked it into the price. It's just brilliant marketing. So instead of 8 empty restaurants, you've now got 8 full restaurants every night. Everyone's got all of this extra money. They're buying the best booze, best wines, liqueurs. So I always want to figure out what makes a place great. And I found out many years ago, it was actually the worst hotel in the Meridian group. It was failing. So they did something absolutely crazy. They took a young 32-year-old lady from England and they sent her over to manage the hotel. 2 things you don't do in an Arab country. You don't send a lady. You don't send a young lady. They were hoping that by the end of the year, she'd most probably do herself out of the business. Unfortunately, it backfired. By the end of the first year, she turned it around into one of the best hotels in the Meridian group. After 2 years, the #1 hotel in the Meridian group. Another 2 years, the best hotel in Dubai. And for the last 10 years, she has been recognized as the top hotelier in the whole of the Middle East. Every year, she wins the best hotel in the most competitive environment in the world. One lady that has just changed the whole face of hospitality. Her name is Pam Wilby. I wrote about her in my book. She's an absolutely amazing lady. And I went and I sat with her and I wanted to find out what made that hotel so great? What was her thing about the unrecognized sales force? And that's the hotel over there. You don't pay any more than any other hotel, but your experience is just out of this world. That's Pam over there. And this is what she shared with me. She said the first thing, treat people as if they are the most important person in the world. The minute they come in, how do you create that first impression? She says the minute they walk into the hotel, how do we make them feel like a king or a queen? The minute somebody phones in, what does the voice sound like on the other side of that phone? Everything is about first impressions. I said to her, you know, it was weird. Within 2 hours, everybody seemed to know our names. And she said, yeah, people love it when you remember names. No, I don't know if anyone's like me. I'm not really good at remembering names. Anyone else? One of my worst experiences. Just started working in the financial services industry, made an appointment with one of the top guys at IBM. And I remember his name was Eustace Harris. And I sat in reception and I thought to myself, please don't call him Useless Harris. And the brain is a funny thing. I walked in, I said, hi, Useless, how are you doing? And then I had a brain drain. I kept calling him Useless all the time. And then I started giggling. I burst out laughing. Well, didn't get that sale. But she says everybody goes on a course to remember names. She says we don't talk about customer service. Everything is about quality awareness. Everything is quality. She says my focus over here is running this hotel. At that stage, she had 800 people. She's now got 2,800 people working for her. By the way, she's got another hotel that's just on her tail all the time, which is Grosvenor House. That's the second best hotel in the Middle East now, and that's the other hotel that she's managing. She manages the 2 best in the most competitive environment. She said, my job over here is how do I create a fun focus? She says, I've got brilliant managers. I rely on them. They do a great job. She says, look at the people that work for me. They come from all over the world. They come from India, Pakistan, South Africa. They're lonely. How do I create that fun focus? She said everything was about customer first, task second. She said, when I took over, that was my biggest thing. How do I move to a customer rather than operational focus? She said, when I got here, I went to the staff canteen. The food was disgusting. Very first change I made was any of my staff can eat exactly the same as the customers. Why did my Italian waiter get so excited when I asked him about the steakhouse? He could have steak every night if he wanted to. She said, if my staff are eating horrible food, how can they get excited about selling food? Everything's about staff empowerment. Anyone asks you a question, you don't say it's not my job, it's not my department. You take ownership for that. Somebody says to you, where's the swimming pool? You don't say it's on the 7th floor. You say, Mr. Billy, great to meet you. Let me show you where it is. You smile, you engage with them, and you turn them into a friend. This one I love over here, buddy system for new entrants. Everybody that starts is assigned a buddy for 3 months. Now, biggest challenge I see with most businesses is they spend a fortune recruiting somebody in, give them a little bit of training for a week, and then everyone's too busy to help that person. She says over here, everybody is assigned a buddy. So a new waiter starts there, and of course the buddy waiter is going to be showing off. This is the way you stand, this is how you deliver your food. The new trainee is getting the best undivided attention. She said it's helped her to recognize new managers. It just works brilliantly. She says every hotel in the Middle East is trying to catch us. The beginning of every year, we sit and we say, what do we need to do to be even better than everyone else? She said we get things wrong. Everybody gets things wrong. Every week she has complaint orders. She says the worst complainers are the silent ones. They just don't come back again. Team building for the staff. Good idea team. Staff newsletters. Employee of the year goes to London or Paris. She got them all together and she said, where do you want to go? That was their choice, not hers. She has the mystery guest that comes back and says what their experience was like. And then this one is interesting. She has a mastermind competition once a year. When she got there, she wanted to find out what the knowledge was like of all of her staff. So she got them all together in the ballroom, started asking questions, and of course they don't want to be embarrassed, so they're all looking down. So the genius she is, she turns that around. Now once a year, every September, she has a mastermind competition. 3 months before the competition, she puts people into teams of 4, and when they have the competition, there's bells, there's whistles, there's prizes. So what do the people do? 3 months before, when they put into teams, the minute they come off their shift, they get together and they're studying, they're learning. She now has the most knowledgeable team in the Middle East. And this is my favorite. Once a year, she has her Meridian Oscars, which is based on customer feedback, appraisals, and managers. It's the biggest night of the year. All of the best people in every section come along and they get their Oscar awards. And it's a big evening. She hires the best band. All of the ladies have beautiful frocks, the guys with their dress suits. And the chef of the year is Hans Fritz from Germany. I just want to thank my mother and father for sending me to the Middle East. Everybody loves recognition, isn't that true? How much recognition are we giving to everybody that works for us? One lady that right up until now is still recognized as the hospitality queen of anywhere in the world. In fact, last year, her hotel won the best spa and beach hotel in the world. Can you imagine that? One lady. Now, I've told this story. We talk about word and mouth. I'm the best person in the world. I've told this story thousands of times to people all over the world. In fact, I was speaking to a Vistage group in Australia, and one of the guys ran out, came back in, and he said, I've just changed my booking. I'm going to that hotel. Emailed me 2 weeks later and said, I've just come back from that hotel. And he said, it is exactly what you said. He says, everything was amazing. And he said, I was sitting at the bar one day, and I was speaking to this blonde lady, and I was telling her about some guy with a weird accent that was telling her about your hotel. And she said, yeah, my name's Pam Wilby. I run the hotel. Small world. But again, what are you doing with your unrecognized sales force? What are you doing to motivate them? If you look at these places, just one lady that has changed the whole world. So what changes can be made to your unrecognized sales force? Right, so I think that's brought us right into time for a good comfort break, tea, coffee, comfort. When we come back, we're going to be looking at the unseen sales force. Let's go and grab some tea and coffee. 10 minutes. Okay, let's get going. So let's take a look at that unseen sales force now. People you don't even know are looking for you. How do you get found on the internet? What do you do with social media? And if we think about that, the customer relationship of tomorrow, this is what people are looking for. They want the ultimate convenience. I want to buy a bicycle. I want to put in the model of that bicycle. I want to go to that page. And I want to say, I want it delivered to me in Orlando tomorrow morning at 11:30. And if that company can't do it, I will find a company that can do it. It's about the ultimate. Buyers are now in charge. I want the ultimate convenience. Awesome companies to buy from. If we look at Amazon, I love Amazon. Anything goes wrong, they'll sort it out immediately. Personal experiences, on-demand products and services. And we know the companies that are doing it out there, Airbnb, absolutely fantastic. Uber, and how did that slip in? Tinder. Anyone here heard of Tinder? No, not me. Delete. But think about it. It's killed off every other dating site. Why? Convenience, personal. You go in, you like someone, you swipe one way, you don't like them, you swipe another way. You swipe together, you meet, get married, have 6 children, live happily ever after, you know. Ultimate convenience. Alibaba, amazing. The story of Jack Ma. Has anyone read his story? Richest man in China. Unbelievable story about leadership. So when we think about that new generation, what they are looking for, that new generation, our buyers are that new generation. My son is the new generation. He's a 35-year-old lawyer. He lives on this thing here. He doesn't go onto an iPad, computer, nothing. Everything is done on this here. Got married, bought a house recently. I said, how did you buy your house? Dad, I Googled them. You don't buy a house. Yes, Dad, I haven't got time to waste. Googled them, found 3 houses, went out Saturday, bought the second one. How did you get your mortgage? Dad, I Googled them. He lives on this thing. And by the way, if our websites are not friendly for mobile, we'll get penalized and we'll lose masses and masses of business. So what the youngsters, the new buyers today, they want blogs, they want information, they want video, YouTube. Big one now is audio, podcasts. If I look at my son, he goes into London and home every day. It's a 45-minute train journey. He's listening to podcasts all the time. How much information are we putting out there? And then, of course, all of the other, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. So how much information are we putting out there? Now, again, my whole online strategy is made up of a couple of different things. The first thing is having a forum. A forum is where people can hang out and talk about the products or services you supply. Everyone online loves to talk about things that they enjoy. If you're in the building business, have a forum where people can come in and talk about construction, that kind of thing. Website, that's your showroom. We'll speak about that in a few minutes. Blogging, thought leadership. Got to have blogs. LinkedIn is brilliant for building up the network. Facebook, still the best place on the planet for targeted advertising. Twitter, brilliant for monitoring leads. YouTube for staying connected. And the new thing now, which is live streaming video. Do any of us do live streaming video? Facebook loves it. YouTube loves it. And again, it's so easy to do. All you need is that, to do live streaming video. We went on the weekend, we went to Bikers Week down in Daytona. And it was brilliant, and I was doing live streaming video. You cannot believe how many people were coming on, commenting, and people love it because it's live, it's happening right then. So all you need is just a phone. The problem is the Zoom is not so good on this, so what you can get is you can get a 10 times Zoom, And just screw that in there. There we go. Now you have a 10 times zoom. Microphone's not that great. So what we've got is you get a little microphone and you just put your microphone in there. Now you've got great sound. But let's say you're in the construction business and you're working outside, you all of that wind sound, get a dead rat. So get yourself a dead rat here and you just put that onto the front of the microphone. And what about lighting? You want to get some light? Okay, we'll just get some lighting over here. Put that on there and away you go. That's your professional camera. You've got everything you need just built into that. That'll be under $100. Now the problem is if I'm standing videoing like that, people are watching it, that's what they're going to see. So what you need is a tripod. Tripods are big, clunky, and heavy. Unless, Kim, how heavy is that? So this is a little thing called the zip shot. This can fit into your purse, can fit into your suitcase. There you go, just give it a little. And there you go. Automatic tripod. How cool is that? So live streaming video is so easy to do. You can come and take a look at this later. It's lovely. It's built on tent technology, so it just folds up the arms here. So zip shot. Go and take a look at zip shot. That's what you can buy. And again, in any kind of business, we're going to speak about video soon. You don't need to spend a fortune on gear. So live streaming video. Now, everything is about getting content out there. Every one of us in this room do Google searches every day. What we're doing is we're trying to find something to help us make a decision to do something or buy something. So I'm always looking for information. How much information are we putting out there to help people make a buying decision to buy our products or services? So we want people to come to the website. The way I do that, every week a YouTube video, a blog onto Blogger, and the newsletter. The problem is, I can make a video and 5 people watch it. So the way you drive traffic, social media drives the traffic to the content. If the content is good, that drives them to the website, and that'll result in an inquiry. And it's great. So let's say I make a YouTube video, 5,000 Facebook friends, go and tell them about that. 27,000 on LinkedIn, tell them about that. But even better on LinkedIn is if we belong to groups. So I belong to 50 groups. The groups I belong to are people I want to sell to. Nobody else. Those are the groups I belong to. In those 50 groups, there's 5.5 million people. Now, every week I make a video. What do? I go to LinkedIn and I go to the groups and I share that video. I now have a permission-based email going out to 5.5 million people. All I want is 1% of the people to go and watch the video or read the blog, and maybe 1% of that to go through to the website. It's a new way of selling. It's the new cold calling. How many of us, when we woke up this morning, let's just take this off here. When we woke up this morning, before we did anything, we went like this. All of us. So our day starts the minute we open our eyes. So if I was going to do Facebook advertising, I want my first ad to go on 6:30 in the morning. Next one, 1:15 when someone's having a lunch break. The next one, 7:45 at night, they just put the kids to bed. The problem is it's going to be different times for Twitter. It's going to be different times for LinkedIn. So there's great tools that we can use out there. There's a tool called Hootsuite where you can auto-schedule everything. In fact, I've just moved away from Hootsuite to one called Co-Schedule, which is even better than Hootsuite. So these tools, I mean, this is, you can get a free version. I was paying $11 a month. And any content you have, always think about COPE. Create once, publish everywhere. Think about commonly asked questions. So with restaurants, what's the best restaurant in my area? We get all of those commonly asked questions. You answer that one. Firstly, it goes into an article. That article can go onto a blog. It goes onto Blogger. That article can go onto LinkedIn. That article then goes onto your website. What about let's turn it into an audio? Now we can make a podcast, turn it into a video. Video goes onto YouTube, goes onto Vimeo. It goes onto Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. One piece of information, create once, publish everywhere, because all of our buyers consume in different ways. And most people say, I don't know where to get content. You don't need a lot of content. One piece of content a week. I won't spend too much time on websites, but again, think about what kind of problems do you solve. The old way of doing websites is, we are fantastic, we are amazing, we've been around for it's us, we. Buyers nowadays don't really care. They're just saying, I've got a problem, can you solve that problem for me? And just a few little tools and resources with websites, one or two great things. This is a little thing, if you go onto my website, they can actually leave a voice message. Because think about this, you've got a business, somebody goes in there 2 o'clock in the morning, they love your website, they think, tomorrow morning, I'm going to send in an inquiry. Tomorrow morning, the dog has got sick and they've got to take it to the vet, and they've forgotten about that. What if they could contact you immediately while they're on the website? Again, this is a free piece of software called SpeakPipe, where they can leave a message straight away on the website. You get an email just saying, Kim has left a message for you, phone this number. Have you ever had any of those companies that come to you and say, we'll analyze your website for you for $2,000? Well, they must probably be using a free piece of software that I recommend everybody use. I don't know where they get the names of these things. It sounds like a porn site, you know, nibbler.siltide.com. I don't know how they find these names. Please go and take a look at this. This will give you the best website analysis you have ever had for free. Nibbler.siltide.com. Absolutely amazing piece of software. And what we want to know is, where are their mistakes? You know, where are our pictures are being stretched and where are things not working? It does everything for you. Oh, how many of us love Facebook? So Facebook's quite an interesting one. And I love to hear stories. So I work with a big accountancy firm in Australia. They invite all of their clients in, and I do a similar kind of talk to what I'm doing now. And I always look for shiny eyes. Anyway, I was looking and I see 3 shiny eyes. There's this one beautiful lady, and next to her is like Mr. Hunk of a guy. And next to him is Mr. Nerd, thick glasses, you know. So anyway, we have a break and they come and talk to me and they say, can we tell you about our company? I said, yeah. I said, how many people in your company? 3 of us. Guy says, this is my wife, Emily. She used to be a personal trainer, and everybody wants to look like Emily. Problem is, she can charge $100. She can do 5 or 6 a day, and then she's worn out. So we said, what if we took Emily and we put her online? So they created a whole course all around Emily. It's all of the exercises she does, everything. And then they asked 3 questions. The same thing we should all ask is, who's my target audience? Her target audience is 16 to 30-year-old girls, nobody else. Second question, where do they hang out? Those young girls hang out on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. And the third question is, how do we connect with them? Facebook advertising. And that's where they bring in Mr. Nerd. So her husband, herself, and Mr. Nerd. And if you go and take a look her up there, her name is Emily Sky. That's her Facebook page. She's a genius. She's just had a child, and she's now created a whole new persona around having her baby. And everything leads to one little product over there that sells for $60. 3 people in that business net $7 million a year. Just think about that. 3 people net $7 million. Why? They know exactly who their target audience is, what they need, and how to connect with them. I mean, it's crazy. Even in Dubai, my nephew over there runs 2 restaurants in the Marriott. And what happens in Dubai, every Friday is the religious day. So that's the day that every hotel has a big party. $85, eat and drink as much as you want to. So every hotel is fighting to get all of the expats. 95% of the people living there are expats, to try and get them into the hotel. So I said to my nephew, how do you do it? He says, I hire Facebook experts, and they get 40% of the takings. He said they've got millions and millions of followers. They do all of the advertising, and thousands of people come into us, and we give them 40% of the profits. He says, I don't have to do any marketing. They're the experts. Why should we try and even do anything? So Facebook is brilliant. And that leads us into my favorite video. How many of us have got a video channel? Okay, great. I love video and what's happening on video at the moment. You know, think about that. It was just 10 years ago that these two guys started YouTube. Just 10 years ago. And then the world went crazy. They were paid $1.65 billion for YouTube. Could you imagine what it's worth now? The young guy from Snapchat, I think, turned down $3 billion for Snapchat. So again, when we think about it, adding a video to your website can increase the chance of a front page by 53 times. We saw that earlier on, sales technology speaker, I come up on the front there. If we just create videos every week, we'll be up on the first page. Research shows that 71% of marketers say that video conversion outperforms anything else. Because what you can do with video is way better. It's that personal experience. You're looking into someone's eyes. You're bringing in the whole body language. And the other big thing is it's all about mood lift and emotion. I want to tell you a great little story. I work with the British Olympic team and the Paralympic team. And every 4 years when they have the Paralympics, one of our TV stations, Channel 4, makes a video to promote the British Paralympic team. 2016, they made a video and they said, we're only going to bring in the Paralympians, we're going to use them, but we'll bring in a couple of imports. There's this guy from Holland that's got one leg, a high jumper, we'll bring him in. There's a guy from Australia, he's got a great voice, but he's got multiple sclerosis, we'll bring him in. And then there's this guy with no arms that plays drums. Let's bring him in. Anyway, I get a phone call. One of my best friends and a fellow speaker is a guy called Alvin Law. Alvin's a Canadian. He was born a thalidomide baby with no arms. Him and I go out drinking all the time, eating. I don't see anything. I just see Alvin. He kicks off his shoes, he eats, he does all kinds of stuff. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel called Sales Tips, if you just type in Alvin Law, there's a 20-minute video where I'm interviewing him. You'll see him working on his iPad. You'll see him doing all kinds of amazing things. Anyway, I was talking to him and I said, it must have been tough growing up with no arms. He said, it was hard. He says, but the toughest people were the adults. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, when I was 8, I wanted to learn to play the piano. Went to a music teacher. I said, I want to learn to play the piano. You haven't got any arms? No, look at my feet. She said, that's disgusting. Get out of here. And he said, I felt bad for a week or two. Alvin now plays drums, he plays piano, plays the trombone. And when they were making this video, he phoned me and he said, they've asked me to fly over to England and they want me to play drums. So you'll see in the beginning of this video, this is my friend Alvin playing the drums with his feet. But what you'll see here as well is the kind of feel-good factor you can get from video.
Yes, I can. 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 Hey, yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can! Are you ready? I can climb Everest. Yes, I can. I can fight here all night and never rest. Yes, I can. I was just born today. I can go all the way. Yes!
Brilliant, isn't it? So we can do all kinds of stuff with video, and what I want us to do now is work on our tables again. I want you to think about how can you use video in business. So again, 5 minutes, any ideas you can come up with, how can we use video in business? Let's work on that. Each table again, let's start over here.
Yeah, we talked about using video to market your values of the company, what you believe in.
Okay, so we heard that one there. People nowadays do want to know about your company, the culture, all of that, and video is the best way to do that. Another one, yeah, Ron?
We've done some videos for our customers' customers. So on large master plan communities where the homeowner takes care of his own irrigation, we give them some training videos so they'll stop calling us to ask them why things aren't working. So there's videos that they can link into.
Okay, that's a brilliant idea. If you're in a B2B business like Ron, think about your customer's customer. How can you help them to sell your products? Great. Another one, Mike? Question was, how can you use video in business?
I was just doing that. I had one of our vendors sending us a video from Germany that's in English.
Okay, great. So put it into your website. Brilliant. Your business is quite interesting, yeah?
If you find restaurants that sell liquor and tacos interesting,
yes. but the youngsters, they're going to go watch it. They're going to see the experience and...
yeah, so I call what we do a lot of brand building with video. So we document our involvement in the community as well as our interactions with each other in the stores. And people find it interesting that I have a district manager that wears a taco costume from time to time. So that's a lot.
Now, interesting, speaking about that, I work with one big company called Zips Car Wash, second biggest car wash in the world. They do 20 million car washes at $7 a pop. And I've worked with their sales team and I've taught them how to make videos at the car washes. And I've got this one 25-year-old guy and he's just latched onto it and he's made the most amazing videos. If you just go and look at Zips Car Wash, you'll see what they've done. Any others? Dick? Oh, there we go.
I work at an animal shelter, and we one of the challenges we have is a lot of people say, oh, I could never go there. I'd be so sad. Well, we have pictures of all our animals on our website, but we also do some walkthrough Wednesdays where we've actually got a staff member with a camera, and she's feeding dogs and introducing people to them and showing them how fun and joyful it is. So we use it to dispel myths.
And I've worked with Martha, and she's got one of the best places in the world, the SPCA Tampa Bay, and your team is just awesome.
I work for a buying group for professional paint stores, and we put on 2 very large shows a year where we bring in all of our members throughout the US, Canada, and Europe. And what we try to do is convey our culture and what makes our buying group special to prospective new members. And so what we did is we put a video on of the actual show, and we had drones. We put drones up in the air just to film the interaction between our members and just the look on their faces as they're engaging each other. And it worked out pretty well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And with drones, you can do great stuff now. Let's take this one and we'll be over there.
We were talking about the importance of having client testimonials. So we're about to throw a healthcare technology conference. So interviewing some of those people after the fact will help encourage other people to participate next year.
Brilliant. And I'm going to show you soon how we do a video testimonial. So we've got some great, let's have one here from Ed, and then we'll go over there.
We do electro-optical laser-based sensors for the defense and security market. And sometimes the technology is kind of intimidating to some. How does it work again? I wondered, has anyone ever used like a simple animation to describe rather complex physics or some other complex technical topic?
Okay, and great. And there's apps like Animoto, or you can even go to a place Fiverr, Fiverr. That will do amazing things for you. Craig?
Hi there. Good morning. My name is Craig, and I have a startup right now that I'm working on called Homesick, but I'm basically an indoor air quality scientist, and we're working with medical patients and helping them recover. But when you're working with ill people, you come across a lot of moments that are, you get a few seconds to plan and capture something extremely emotional as these people are coming through a metamorphosis and recovering their experience. And you don't get a lot of time to prepare for that. You usually have a smartphone. But I wanted to share with you guys a piece of equipment I found, and you triggered my memory when you were talking about your tripod. Have anybody used or heard of the Osmo? Excellent device, and it basically only has a power button. Your smartphone does the rest once you put it in the cradle. But check that out if you want to do videos on the fly that you can recover professional quality and probably a 20-minute learning curve with the device. Excellent. It's really been helpful for us. Thanks.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Craig. And the Osmo, you can get them at Best Buy, those kind of places. They're great. So we've got one from Abigail and Denise.
So I'm a social media strategist, and recently what I saw that is pretty interesting is there was an actual completely online digital 2-day conference about, business coaching that was all inside of a Facebook group. So they were using live videos and videos of people that were sharing their experiences and coaching people to find your freedom within your business and what that means. But it was completely through this Facebook group that they did this. And I thought that might be a very unique opportunity for a lot of different businesses and industries.
Because people love to belong to groups.
Facebook is promoting groups and encouraging people to be more groups. That's why they created a whole new section on their tab. For groups. So if you don't already have a Facebook group, figure out a way to incorporate that, whether it's just for your for the individuals working for your company, for you guys to speak about, company matters and all that stuff, talk about 5-star reviews that someone just got. It's Facebook is promoting groups and video hardcore.
Good morning, everyone. Lanice Germany with Livio's Catering. Hi, Ian. We work together a lot. No, so with us, food is easy. It's all over everywhere. But we had to figure out what was unique about us. Yes, we're a family-owned business. My husband and I have 6 kids. The name of the business is named after their children. So that alone captured the hearts of people. But as we begin to kind of really dig into something a little more effective, people don't understand or even realize the chaos behind putting your events together. And so that was one of the things that we started doing. Like, you're sitting here and you're eating and you're enjoying the workshop. You have no clue what's going on in the kitchen. And so we wanted to kind of disclose that, because you're happy-go-lucky on the outside, but back in the back of the house, it's a mess.
And people do. They want to know behind the scenes. Yeah. What's happening? How is that product made? How is it put together that I'm buying from you? Oh, cheers, thanks. We've got another 10 minutes, and I just want to show you 1 or 2 things. How are we doing there, Cindy? 10 minutes? Oh, okay. Oh, great. That's lovely. So video testimonials. Video testimonial is probably the most powerful thing you could ever use in business. But a video testimonial sometimes can be wrong. Somebody recently said to me, take a look at this video testimonial, and it went like this. Hello, my name's Mike, and I love this company. I think they're fantastic. Mike could be working for you, So video testimonials made up in 3 ways. First 20 seconds, the person who's giving you the video testimonial, that's their elevator speech, who they are, what they do. That's the credibility builder. So that's always got to be the first part. The second part of it is where they talk about your business or your services, but just coach them a little bit. Tell them not to use words like fantastic or amazing. Rather try and bring in some specifics by using XYZ, we've increased our output by 22%, or we've decreased by 15%. Try and bring in some specifics, and then finish off again with who they are and what they do. So here's an example of a video testimonial, and you can see how he actually follows that. First part, credibility builder. Second part, testimonial. Third part, who they are again.
Hi, my name is Jerry Mossy, and I head up the marketing team at Fiduciary Group here in Gibraltar, providing financial services to both private clients and businesses worldwide. I've now attended 2 of Frank's workshops and have no issue recommending Frank if what you want is to learn how best to utilize social media to improve your opportunities and get your message out there. Frank has the ability to talk to you at your level of understanding, explaining clearly what you need to do and how best to do it. I'm now looking forward to implementing these ideas, and I'm doing so confident in the knowledge that I have the know-how. This is Jerry Mossy saying, thanks Frank for all your advice.
Can you see how he followed that formula over there? And I've got about 65 video testimonials. It is the most watched page, because if you say you're good, nobody believes it. If your clients say it, all of a sudden it takes on a whole new life. So please, please get video testimonials. Now, the other thing that I love over here is, I'm going to show you, does anyone do video email? Video email is awesome. Because how many of us have got that client that we keep sending the emails to and they just don't reply? So what I do at the give up stage is I'll make a video email, send it to that person and just watch the video, and curiosity takes over. It's like, hey, this is Frank, I've been trying to get a hold of you for 3 months, you don't answer my emails, don't you love me? And I think, this guy's crazy, and I get the phone call back again. Somebody buys a big product from you, you get a big sale. Instead of just a little, oh, thank you so much, send them a little video email. Hey, this is Frank, thanks so much, we love having you on board as a customer. And now there's a lot of places that you'll be paying a fortune for video email, but my favorite is one called Loom, L-O-O-M, and it's just an add-on to Chrome. So if we have a look here, I'm just going to go across, that's what it looks like there. And again, if you've got technical explanations, anything you want to do, you just click into that there. It'll bring up my ugly mug in the corner there. So let's just pull that up there. And then I'm just going to hit start recording here. And we'll go there. Hey, this is Frank. I'm in the awesome Tampa, and in fact, let's pull myself over here and make myself a little bit bigger. And then, hey, thanks so much for popping into our restaurant. It's been absolutely amazing meeting you. We've got a great time. I can make myself a little bit smaller again. I can pull myself over. You can be going through PowerPoints. You can be talking about your websites, going through all kind of stuff here. That's recording it. And you hit the finish button. Let's just pull this back over here. Finish recording. And there we go. Internet's a bit slow. Normally this is pretty good. Everything will be working. Frank, I'm in the awesome Tampa, and in fact, let's pull myself over here and make myself a little bit bigger. And then, hey, thanks so much for popping into our restaurant. It's been absolutely amazing meeting you. We've got a great time. I can make myself a little bit smaller again. I can pull myself over. You can be going through PowerPoints. You can be talking about your websites, going through all kind of stuff here. That's recording it. And you hit the finish button. Let's just pull this back over here. I mean, it's that easy to do. And then all you do is copy the link and send that link. It's hosted on their site. So I love this. I use this almost every day. It's so simple to do. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to know anything technical. So please go and take a look at it. L-O-O-M, loom.com, loom.com. We're getting close to the end of the session here, and I've got one last story, but please, everybody, just take a photograph of that or write that down. That's where you can download a PDF of today's presentation, plus a ton of extra stuff, bonuses that I've put in for you. Get talk at Vistage Tampa. If you've got any other questions, come and have a chat to me later. And I just want to finish off with a story about the 2 greatest salespeople I've ever met. We're talking about sales today. So has anyone ever gone to India? India is the most amazing place in the world to go to. I absolutely love it. I mean, the people have got such a thirst for learning over there. I was asked to be the opening speaker at a conference. I said, what time am I on? 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, nobody's going to be there at 6. I went down at 5:30 to set up 600 people sitting, waiting. Unbelievable. But I was staying at the Taj Mahal Hotel, again, one of the best hotels in the world. Just fantastic. But when you go outside, poverty like you've never seen before. And I wanted to see the gateway to India. This is opposite the hotel. So I walk over there and I'm looking for somebody to give me a tour of the place. 2 little girls run up to me. One's about 5, one's about 8. Hello, mister. Where are you from? I said, I'm from England. Oh, Manchester United, Liverpool. You know. Can we give you a tour? I said, sure. 5 and 8 years old. For the next 10 minutes, they gave me the best tour. They knew times, dates, places. These girls were absolutely amazing. At the end of it, I pulled out 60 rupees and I gave it to the eldest girl. She said, please, mister, don't give us money. My papa, he hits us. He takes all of our money. I said, girls, what can I do for you? We're so hungry. Please, can you buy us some powdered milk? Follow them through the back streets and we get to a guy who's got a vending thing over there and they run up to him and they're laughing, smiling, and he gives them a big tin of powdered milk and off they run. And he says, that will be 600 rupees. Anyway, I paid him and I get back to the hotel and I'm talking to the manager and I tell him the story. He says, you've just been ripped off. Those are professional beggars. That's their father. The minute you leave them, they bring the milk back and he gives them 300 each. They've made 5 times as much. And I was upset for a while and then I thought about it. You know, I've just met the 2 best salespeople in the world. Think about any sales situation. The first thing you need is a prospect. I walk out of the hotel. It looks like he's got a few dollars there. Let's target him. The next thing is develop rapport. Where are you from? London. Manchester United, Liverpool. If I'd said America, they would have come up with stuff. If I'd said Singapore, they would have come up with stuff. The third thing is product knowledge. They knew times, they knew dates, they knew places. They gave me the best tour I could ever have had. And the most important thing was they knew how to close the sale. They gave me the emotional close. My papa, he drinks. 2 little girls that got me to spend 10 times more than I originally was going to invest. Let me introduce you to the 2 best salespeople I've ever met. By the way, that was taken after. No, it was taken before I gave them the money. So we've got to think about that. Are we using everything we need in sales? 2 best salespeople ever. Please follow me. Please connect with me, especially on LinkedIn. Almost weekly, I'm putting out new things. There's new videos going out all the time. I've got some awesome material. Please also go to my YouTube channel, Sales Tips. There's 750 videos there, free, all kinds of stuff. And then also on Facebook is all the personal, the journeys, the travel, everything. Well, I hope you picked up some great ideas this morning. It's been awesome being here. Thanks for coming along to what I think is the best organization in the world, Vistage. And I'm going to hand back over to Cindy. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Okay, well, Frank's going to hang around afterwards. We promised to get you out by 10:30. If this were a regular Vistage group, first of all, there'd be fewer people in the room because we have up to 17 in the room, but it's all about accountability and action items. So what we'd like you to do is what we do at a typical Vistage group. At your tables, spend the next 10 minutes or so reporting out on the action items you're going to take as a result of this presentation. So we'll give you 10 or 15 minutes to share at the table. When we're done with that, we're also going to hear from a couple of our Vistage members. So stay tuned, but share at your tables. Go ahead and get started. That you can go back and implement and that you learn from one another. That's a mini version of what we do in Vistage. But for the real version, you heard Frank's presentation. When he comes into our Vistage groups, he speaks for half a day. So twice as long, twice as much information, twice as many takeaways, if not 3 times as many takeaways. And we were just having a conversation at our table. I say all the time how great our Vistage speakers are. Wouldn't you say Frank is great? And so we bring in these keynote quality speakers to our small groups, which is a wonderful aspect of Vistage. So you've heard from the speaker, and you've heard from me, which is way more than you wanted to do. So now I'd like you to hear from 2 of our members. So I'm going to ask Sharon Morrow to come up. And this is completely unscripted. I just told her to speak from the heart. And then we're going to have Davin Joseph speak as well. So Sharon is one of my Vistage members, and she's going to share a little bit about Vistage. Yes. So tell them a little about your business too.
Okay. We do digital signage for hotels and convention centers. The signs outside of these meeting rooms and downstairs, that's our product. This is our customer. They do a very good job with them. First time I came here was right out a year ago. Can you all hear me? First time I came here was right out a year ago. And at that point, I was going crazy. I was busy all the time. I couldn't catch up. I felt like I was working as long and as hard as I could and going home when I just couldn't think anymore and getting up and doing it again the next time. I had hit a kind of a ceiling. I had been in business for a very long time, and I just couldn't get everything working together after we hit a certain size. And I had brought in a sales management consultant to help me reestablish some things in the sales team. And she said, you might benefit from coming and hearing this speaker that's going to be speaking. I said, okay, I trusted her. It was only going to be a few hours. I came here and I was blown away by it. I was blown away. It was 2 hours of hearing someone who had been the chief of staff for Ronald Reagan, especially all after his retirement time. And he spoke about leadership. And it was 2 hours of just hearing inspiring words about leadership. And it took me out of the grind, the day-to-day fixing problems, and made me think about what my job really was. And so I filled out the form and said, yes, contact me. And I went back to work, and it was the same grind. But you know how you carry that feeling with you? So for the next couple of weeks, I saw everything from a different perspective, and it made a big difference. So set an appointment for Cindy, and I'm going crazy, and I'm losing the feeling. And I started looking to prepare, and I hadn't picked up on the fact that it was going to require a day out of every month. And I thought, that's crazy. I can't do that. That was so crazy to me. And I canceled the appointment. I thought, I can't even spend 2 hours on this. Kelly called me again a few months later and said, would you like to go to a second speech there? And I said, yes. And that one was about all of the changes that had happened in customer behavior. Frank touched on it a little bit in this one, but this was 2 hours about how when customers contact you now, they've already researched everything. They've looked at all the reviews. They think that you're out to get them as opposed to calling for information. Your website has to be completely different. And again, I was blown away because the question is, had we recognized that? And I thought, yeah, that's how I buy now. And I know that that's true. And have we changed our website to reflect it? No, I had never even thought about it. I signed up again, had the interview, because it was clear to me that if I kept not spending any time working on being CEO, I was never going to get it where I needed to be. The behavior that I was doing it harder and faster and longer was not ever going to change it. So I signed up immediately. Cindy came and gave me an executive coaching session, and I thought, I don't need this. I don't have time for it. My whole experience with Vistage has been, I don't have time for that. I don't need that. And then being blown away by, the things that I didn't think I needed, we were talking about at our table, those are the things that you need the most because you won't go find them yourself because you don't know what you don't know. There are 4 parts to Vistage, not only the speakers, which are 4 hours with a small group that you get to know very well and very interactive. There's also the executive coaching, which is amazing to have somebody to talk to about the specific problems and specific things that you need. And There's also the group sessions, which are phenomenal because these are all people who are investing that kind of time in growing their business, in making their business better, in making it better for the employees, for the customers. These are the people that I want to get advice from. And the fourth thing that overlays it all is goals. I know you're supposed to do SMART goals, and I was even able to recite them, but I didn't realize how badly I was failing at that until Cindy every single month said, where are your goals? I need your goals. It took me 4 months to define what my goals were for the year and actually set aside, these are the ones I'm going to focus on. That's been the most transformational thing for my company. It's just been 7 months, but there's a whole different feeling in the company. And instead of everybody racing, we're going for the goals. We're reevaluating. And that's the biggest change. There's a feeling of hope. There's a feeling of pride. And in just 7 months, it's made a huge difference to me.
Thanks, Sharon. Next, we're going to hear from Davin Joseph as Davin makes his way up here. I may have neglected to mention something else earlier. We do have 23,000 members in 20 countries, and there's lots of interest groups online as well. So some of you may be wondering, oh, we have these diverse groups. What if I have an industry-specific question? Well, we have, a technology group, and we have a healthcare group, and things like that, and you can have those amazing conversations. One of my favorite ones is the Talent Strategies Network. And so it's just an email blast that I get daily from people who are posting questions and solutions and what they're doing. These are actual members sharing with one another. So that's kind of cool as well. So my members in here who haven't joined those networks, please do. All right, Davin.
Good morning, good morning. So kind of I think everybody here has been either a member or thinking about joining the group, and Vistage is a great organization that I've joined probably about a little over a year ago. And it's a lot of words that resonate. I think a lot of people repeat when it comes to Vistage as to why it's important to them. And so I kind of wrote a lot of them down. But for me, is really the advice. When you come to solid advice, honesty, network, trying to advance, diversity, future, trying to be better, being a part of a team, understanding, finding a home. They resonated with me because as I transitioned from professional sports into the business world, I found myself alone. I found that I really didn't have a coach, I guess you can say, with transitioning from sports, where from ever since high school, going into collegiate and professional, I always had a coach, somebody that really structured, that made sure that I was accountable, that made sure that I had goals, that I had things that I needed to work on. I really set like a plan, a game plan for me. Once I retired from sports, I really didn't have a coach. I really didn't have a team. I really didn't have that structure to help me grow as an individual and then help my business grow. And the same thing in professional sports is, you want to have a good team, so you have a coach that kind of makes your team good. And then, of course, as an individual, you want to have your own success. So with Vistage, I found that, it was something I was really missing even after, going back to school, getting my degree, getting my professional licenses and things of that sort. I really didn't have a coach. I really didn't have a team. And so that's what I found with Vistage, where for me, it resonated a lot. And so you hear kind of the same words, but is, trying to, present it in a different way that people can relate. And for me, that's where, Vistage has been so valuable. Oh, okay. So, so I started in professional sports. I've been in sports ever since I'm still a sports fan. So, of course, I check my updates during the meetings, so, but I've started sports. I played professional football for the Buccaneers and for the St. Louis Rams before they moved to LA. Put 10 years in there, retired. And I, listened to all the guest speakers that we had about saving my money and whatnot. And so during my career, I had a knee injury in 2012 that kind of really, I knew I wasn't going to recover the same. I knew I wasn't going to be the same. And so I had to work on my transition plan. So at that time, I had a neighbor that got me into real estate investing. And so started buying rental properties around Tampa, back in my hometown, throughout Pasco County. And so it developed into a business. And so I do property management for my own portfolio and also some other individuals, not many. And we do short-term rentals, long-term rentals, multifamily. And so that's my business. And so kind of how videos and things relate to my industry, you really, when I started, it was really about pictures, a picture of a house and bedrooms and a bathroom. And you put it online and that was it. But now, you got to be more creative on giving people really, they look for, you're trying to sell it before they come and take a tour, so you're trying to rent a property within a short time frame, so you got to really be able to present um, online what their experience is going to be. You want to make sure that your credibility is good. You want to make sure that this potential, not tenant, I don't like to use that word, this potential client is going to get everything they want and more. And so how do you do that? It's really using those tools like social media, having a website, using videos and even testimonials that now I'm going to add to, my business to really give that portrayal of what they're going to get if they, rent this place, whether it's going to be a day or a year or hopefully a lifetime.